Dairy is the single most subsidized food in the country, that it makes most of us sick and that it's been slowing athletes down for generations.
Welcome, everyone. Yes, it's true. This report has been a long time coming, and it's not without the magnificent efforts of multiple PhDs, MDs, and dietitians committed to the science and to the unbiased truth.
Well, my section report was about helping athletes get a good deep breath. And we know that asthma is very prevalent amongst athletes. When I took care of the professional teams, we had a lot of players with asthma. If you look at the research, about 20% of both the U.S. Olympic team in 1996 and the British Olympic team at the 2002 Olympics carried the diagnosis of asthma. And what we know is that dairy plays a fairly significant role is a causative factor of asthma.
You know, as elite athletes, we really want to fuel our bodies and try and give it the most bang for the buck, right? We got to take in a lot of calories. So we want pretty much every calorie that we bring in to bring in the most amount of good, like you said, and the least amount of bad. And we want the most premium fuel that we can possibly get our hands on for our engines. And that is where the issue with dairy lies. Dairy has nutrients. I mean, obviously it does. It's milk for a growing baby. But you know, a Twinkie has some nutrients. The problem is dairy also comes with a lethal dose of testosterone, estrogen. In fact, 70% of our dietary estrogen comes from dairy foods.
Let me jump in and build on some of the things Dotsie was talking about, because I think really this gets to, I think, one of the root problems we have in the Western world, whether when we talk about nutrition for performance, but nutrition for health in general. 30 years ago, we were demonizing fat and worshiping carbs, you know, the era of Snackwell's cookies. Now we're worshiping protein, we're demonizing carbs. But carbs aren't the problem. Protein isn't the problem. It's the package that our food comes in is the problem.
To consume dairy cow's milk for protein or calcium is like drinking soda for potassium. You just don't do that. It's very important to realize that athletes need about 1 to 2 grams per kilogram of lean body mass of protein. But what happens if someone decides, you know what, I'm just going to go for 3 grams per kilogram or 4 grams per kilogram. Let me just consume a ton of this cow's milk protein. Well, what ends up happening is this extra protein actually escapes digestion because your body won't be able to handle that big of a load of protein. It could escape digestion. This protein goes farther down into the colon, and check this out. It actually, the gut microbiome that we talked about, ferments that protein into toxic, harmful products. Anyhow, that's why as a gastroenterologist and someone who promotes health, I want athletic directors to weigh out the risks and the benefits when they recommend dairy to their athletes.
Super powerful. Dr. Sadeghi, thank you so much. Dr. Marin, let's go with you next. And you've got such a fascinating perspective on this topic. Tell us more about how you engaged with the report and some things that our viewers really should take out.
You know, when it comes to what's driving all this, I mean, it's a simple fact that we've never been where we are in history, right? If you go back even 50 years, many things were in glass. We didn't have as much plastic. We're essentially just manufacturing more plastic items, more throwaway items. So it's an interesting point where we're going, wow, we've introduced 80,000 plus synthetic chemicals into the environment. What is that going to do? Now, why did we even start testing dairy milk and animal products for this? It's because we found these chemicals in the human body. We found these chemicals in umbilical cord blood. We found these chemicals in amniotic fluid. We found these chemicals in human breast milk. So it's prompted more and more people to ask the question, if it's in us, is it in what we eat? And the answer is yes.
Dotsie, to you for just one final closing remark, if you would like to encourage our audience to go further.
We're here to help. If you're ready to make a journey, a transition, just, you know, one glass at a time, we're here for you. So feel free to email us. Definitely read the report. We have a lot of supportive elements on Switch for Good, as do all the wonderful docs and dietitians in the report and on here today. So visit us at switchforgood.org, and you can download your Athlete's Power Plate. I think that'll be really helpful to everyone listening.